my family. I had really become a poor example of the man that I was at one time, knew I should be and could be. So I just let myself slide. So I had to be a better father, a better husband. So I kind of folded that all into one. And for a while, I kept that same why. And today, when Dennis asked that question, I started thinking, things have changed, things have evolved into something new. And I sat and thought about it for a little while. And I just made a post before I got on here answering that question. And it may just be cliche and vague, but my why, I think, is more so because I get to now. And you
Yeah.
talk about having an I get to attitude. Not my why is more of a why not. Why would I not get up and take advantage of every day that God gives me breath? Why would I not go be a better employee, a better friend, a better husband, a better father? And to do that, I have to put into me and be a better me every single day and better myself. There's no better way for me to do those things without pouring into me first and taking care of myself first. So why not be a better me so I can accomplish those things? And like you say, leave that legacy. And if I do, when I do leave this earth, I want people to be able to say, my dad showed me this and showed me that, and my husband, anytime I needed him to do something, he was there. He was able to fix this, do that, and he just supported me. My friend, my coworker, so on and so forth. I want that. I really, really want that. I want to be remembered for those things, be a better Christian. I was not a good example. That's in the Bible. Gluttony, overeating, not taking care of the temple that God has given. So, man, that's what my why has evolved into is why not? I don't have an excuse for not taking care of myself and being that example and that leader.
Brian, how much do you weigh right now?
186 ish, something this morning.
When you first got signed up for Heartletics, how much did you weigh?
More than that, I was 258 pounds.
Okay. So 258-pound Brian, I want to know, and I'm sure everybody else that's listening, because you're about to spill the beans, man. This is about to be some golden nuggets. I'm telling everybody, pay attention to what Brian's about to say next. I'm sure you didn't always have that attitude of, hey, I get to, right? Back in the day when you were that Brian. So I want to know, I'm sure everybody else wants to know, is what helped make that mindset shift of, hey, I get this as an opportunity now. I'm grateful to do this now. I'm not taking my life and my health for, grant for advantage now. Like, what helped you make that shift?
The the knowledge of learning how to do it, and it's really not some groundbreaking, earth-shattering science and approach and cut this out, cut that out, and just gaining the knowledge of how to, and it becoming a habit. It just kind of, I don't know, it evolved into something that if I miss my workout or if I start neglecting my nutrition and hydration, those things, I don't know, it weighs on me now. I don't really know how to explain it. It's part of my life now, so it just evolved into it's something I do now. Maybe being more thankful for the time I have, more thankful and understanding that these not taken for granted every day I have. Um, I understand that I'm blessed to be here, and I'm blessed with my family, blessed with my wife, my job, those different things. It's just a mindset shift because I don't
So,
really know how to
so,
explain it.
so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's say I was a dad and I'm 52 years old and I have three kids and I'm struggling. I'm 289 pounds, I'm out of shape. I'm working hard to pay the bills. I come home every single day from work and I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I know I should be eating better. I know I should be trying to exercise and move around and work out, right? But there's something in me that's just stopping me from actually doing that. You mentioned that it was a mindset shift that led to a habit change, right? That involved that is part of your lifestyle now, where it's like, hey, like you look forward to working out, you look forward to, tracking your macros, but it wasn't like that before because you've mentioned that you've tried all these different diets, but they didn't really work for you. for me being that dad that's out of shape and I'm stuck, right? That could be a mental thing, an emotional thing, or even a physical thing. I'm just stuck. What's the best piece of advice to help me?
Uh, early on, I would tell people to, if you, they would say they didn't have the time, didn't have the energy, didn't have this, didn't have that. It's not a good time. I had to make it important, and I had to get a little bit selfish, and humbly selfish is what I like to call it, and actually take the time and put the effort and time into me. For so long, you think pouring into your family is neglecting yourself, and time with you got to have time with the kid, and all that's great and important. Time with the kids, time with the wife, time for this, time for that, time for that, and you've neglected, and you don't see it happening, but you're neglecting yourself, and the amount of effort and energy that you can put into those other things dwindles as well. So I had to a switch flipped, and I had to just decide I've got to do this. I've got to put some effort and energy and selfishness and time into me. Otherwise, my blood pressure was going up, it was getting heavy. I was just not, I didn't have the energy to do the things that I needed to do, the chores I had to do, the work I had to do. So I was going downhill. And so I had to decide it was about to get bad. I had to make it important and carve out what little bit of time I could and start putting into myself. And those things eventually got better, and I was able to put more time into me. And I don't know, it actually ended up freeing up time for the other things and benefiting those other avenues even more so because I made it important. Does that make any sense?
100%. Last question I have for you, because remember, I'm right now struggling. I got three kids. I'm 298 pounds, out of shape, but you just inspired me to start moving. I'm like, all right. Brian says, hey, carve out a little bit of time. I'm going to do that. Brian says you have to prioritize your health and want to make that change. I realize, hey, I want to make that change, right, for my kids' sake. Now, I want to know, right, in terms of like, you lost all this weight, over 90 pounds pretty much. You lost all this weight. You were able to keep it off. Paint for me the picture. What was the hardest part about your transformation, Brian? And what was the easiest part about your transformation? That way I can take a look and say, all right, do I actually want to take that step forward or not?
The hardest part was probably in the first couple, 2 or 3 weeks, staying consistent with my workouts, the energy expenditure, and just because I didn't feel like it. I did not. I mean, I was way overweight, way out of shape, and I told you I didn't have any energy to do the things I needed to do, let alone put forth more energy. So that was probably the most difficult part, was deciding to go ahead and stay consistent. And for me, I started out at home with home workout. This may not be applicable, but I started out working out at home.
I think people need to hear that.
Yeah, I started working out with home workouts, and I knew a week and a half, 2 weeks in, I'm not going to stick with this. This is not. I don't know. It's something about going to the gym, hearing the weights beating and clanging around, which I was used to in a past life, and just something about the atmosphere and maybe it's getting up, getting out, and I don't know, getting moving, and that getting to somewhere. It feels like I've got that purpose. So when I started my gym workouts, it started to click, and that's when it became that routine and that habit. That for me, that was the hardest part, the consistency of that. The food and everything, I tweak recipes and make them work, and the whole family. So that was easy peasy. And I love food, and I make it work, so it's great. What was the part of the question?
Well, I want to know the easiest, but I want to go back to the hardest part, because you mentioned about like, hey, if you were going to stick with the home workouts, it just wasn't your vibe. It wasn't going to stick, right? But there was still that probably bad wolf, good wolf, right? Tugging you back, saying like, man, like you don't need to do this, or man, you can't stick with this, or the journey's going to be too hard. What is I guess like what helped you show up for those 2 weeks?
Oh, I'll tell you one huge thing that you pointed out early on. stepping stone goals, because
Mm.
I was terrible about setting that, man, I want to lose so much weight, or I want to be able to lift this, and staring at that goal, looking way out, man, I'm so far from that goal. And then the next day, I'm still so far from that goal. I'm still so far. But I was able to learn how to, like you say, fall in love with that process. And I
Yeah.
could see a little bit of improvement each and every day, week over week. And being able to learn and celebrate those little stepping stone and milestones, short milestones on the way to that big goal. And before you know it, bam, there you are hitting that PR, or that amount of weight you want to look. That was a big shift there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so what was the easiest part about that whole entire transformation of yours?
When it was done.
It
It's not.
never ends. You're still
No,
here.
yeah, but it's. I don't know, man. It's not easy. But once you get going and you start realizing the benefit and seeing the benefit, leaning on the community groups, seeing all these people that are pulling for you and working together with you, um, it really became fun. And I'm not gonna lie and say it was easy. By any stretch of the imagination, it was not easy. There's work involved in it, but I wouldn't change it for the world, obviously.
Last question before we move on, man. If you had to go back to Brian that was out of shape, Brian that was overweight, lacking the energy, lacking the confidence, stuck in a rut, mentally, physically, emotionally, maybe even spiritually, right? Stuck.
Mm-hmm.
What would you go back knowing everything that you know right now, looking and feeling the way that you know now? What would you go back and tell them if you could just give them 30 seconds to just wake them up, slap them around, or give them that gut punch that they kind of need? What would be that conversation?
That now is the time. The time is not promised to you. Tomorrow's not promised. And what are you waiting on? And at that time, remember I was worried about failing again, man. What if I do this and then I fail again? And exactly what you told me, man. There's no failure. We're gonna use that and learn from each little step. You know that we may falter, but we're gonna learn from it. The biggest message I would tell myself is, what are you waiting on? First of all, why have you let yourself get like this? But now, what are you waiting on? You know, you need to make the change. You know the man you can be, you have been, and should be. What are you waiting on? Now, there's time's going away. There's no perfect time. Get started and lean on these people that want to help you.